Welcome back to the channel. We're still working away on the Superduty swap on the 74 Ford. Gonna roll this frame out, pressure wash it off, get all the crud and stuff off there so it's easier to work on. So from the last video, we got this thing all stripped down to the frame, getting ready to get those brackets bolted on here. But in order to do that, we need to work on the frame and get these brackets and other brackets. But as you can see, this engine and power steering leaked for 50 years, so there's a bunch of crap stuck on the frame. So make life easier on me, gonna get this outside, do a hot water pressure washer on it, try to get this all cleaned off, and then we can start cutting brackets, get everything off. Isn't that right, Azula? Got the frame back here in the shop, got most of it cleaned off with the pressure washer. Was having some issues with my pressure washers, wasn't getting the best job on it, but it's a lot cleaner than it was. Right now, gonna work on prepping to get the engine out. Before we do that, I need to get some reference points to the position of the engine and the angle. So what I'm gonna do, I got this long bolt here that's going to screw into the crankshaft here. I got this tube that'll slide over it, so what I'll end up doing is getting this secured in there and then running a bracket or piece of metal between the frame rails and tacking onto that, so we got a nice position of the front there. And then for the rear here, I took the U-joint out and kind of made this alignment tool for the back. It's a long bolt and it will affix into there and give me a position output on the transmission. And then I'll probably do similar to up front there, a piece of tube secured to one of these cross members. And the reason for that is we get this engine transmission out and we put the new one in, so the 351 and the ZF5, we're gonna have to make a custom rear cross member. So this way we'll be able to position the back of the transmission where it needs to be in order for the angles and everything to be right. So gonna get going on that, figure that out, get those positioned, and then work on getting the engine out. So it might look a little crude, but got my alignment points welded in position. Got this one back here that's in line with the back of the transmission. So now that's all taken care of, time to pull the engine out. Just got the frame rolled back in the shop after getting the engine pulled out. Clean up a little more stuff that the pressure washer missed on here. Gonna work on pulling it apart now, or even more, get these front suspension brackets off. We'll start by pulling the steering box. I gotta do a little more measurements to get some cab location stuff down, but then we'll start pulling suspension off the front, and then we'll come back here and cut off these rivets and get these rear parts pulled off. So I made a bit of progress on the frame. Got the full front suspension pulled out of there and the brackets taken off. I'll show you in some more detail on what I was using for that when we get to the back. Got some of the brackets set on here. They're not bolted, still a little loose and stuff, but these front ones line up pretty good. I will have to make some modifications to the radius arm brackets because I designed those based off of a 78 frame, and this being a 74. There's a few differences in the holes. These are used for different transmission setups. Some of them had a bracket that hang off the side. With this one here, bolted to the bottom, so my alignment holes aren't in the right place to make that work. So you'll probably end up drilling out this, but I'll end up taking some photos so we can get one of these brackets to fit both of the frames. And that's really the purpose of doing this, because I knew I'd probably run into something like that. Next step is getting this rear axle and stuff out. Got this front hanger bracket sat on there, kind of looks how it works. And you can see it's set up for the longer leaf spring, so it's moved up a bit. So yeah, we will keep on trucking here. Gonna cut off these rear rivets for the rear axle and get that out, and I'll go ahead and show you some more detail on how we get those off. So to get these rivets out can be a real hassle. Multiple ways to do it. You can just grind the head off, drill them out, punch them out, use an oxyacetylene torch. Problem with that is you don't want to get into the base metal that you care about. If you mess up the bracket, who cares? What I do is I use a combination of a grinder and an air chisel. A plasma torch might also work. But what I found to work best for me anyways is air hammer with a chisel tip and also the punch tip. So you'll come in here, chisel this off, and once the head's off, you punch it out. Something I found that also helps is a grinder with the cutoff wheel. If you put a notch in there, it helps get the head off. So I'll go ahead and show you that. So now that we got this notch cut in here, I'll go ahead and put this chisel tip into the air hammer and go ahead and knock that off. So that one came off really easy with that head cut. So now we'll switch over to the punch and punch that out. So this one is putting up a good fight. Some of them come out easy, other ones are really hard. So I'm going to go ahead and try grinding down around this a little more, see if I can get that popped off. Another option is to drill it, and that helps release some of the pressure, so we'll try grinding it first. Well, that one didn't work, so got the drill and drill bit. Gonna drill in this probably about 1/8 of an inch or so with a 3/16 or some just random size drill bit. Anyway, hopefully to release some of that tension in between the metal, and then we should be able to drive it. And there you go. A little more work than planned, but got it out. Hopefully the rest of these go a little bit easier. Another option is if they don't want to come out, you can just go ahead and get all these heads cut off, and then sometimes this bracket will come off. Then you can regrind the rivet down to the frame here, and then only working with the friction of the base frame and not this added one, then they'll usually pop out easier. So we'll go ahead and get all these cut off and try to get them popped out and keep on going. So I think that's going to be it for this video. We got all the brackets off of the frame and the axle out and all taken care of. Next time we're going to start working on getting the fuel tanks out and bolting on these brackets and hopefully get those axles in. See you guys later.